about the I told you about the National Human Rights Commission, in which I told you what do you mean by National Human Rights Commission. I told you this on Thursday, precisely on Thursday. What is the function of the commission? The commission functions include inquiry at its own initiative or a petition presented to it by a victim. किसी के ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन को ह्यूमन राइट्स को खत्म कर दिया गया हो, उसके उससे विड्रॉ कर दिया गया हो, उसको in Hindi we call it, particularly Hindi we call it प्रताड़ित, right? If you are tortured by the police or by some other inquiry party, then he can go to the Human Rights Commission. You know, few days ago, an IAS officer slapped a passerby and he throws his phone on the road and it's broken. Then he was reprimanded, and he was transferred from that post to another post. Because Human Rights Commission watched it, saw it, and put it to the proper authority. And Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, he took it special concern about it, and he transferred that IAS officer from that post to another post, and that IAS officer, said that he is very sorry. He apologized in the TV and in the social network. This is the right. This is the power of Human Rights Commission, right? So the commission receives complaints in thousands of every year. This relates to the custodial deaths. We have got the custodial deaths. Many custodial deaths were there. Then we have some action, indignity to women. Then failure in taking action of police excesses, and disappearance of youth from Punjab, Gujarat, and all, and custodial rape and disappearances. So many things are there which is not called as a human being. Then I told you the commission does not have the power to prosecute. I'm just recapitulating with you. The commission does not have the power of prosecution. It can merely make recommendations to the government or recommend to the court to the initiating proceedings based on inquiry. मतलब I told you earlier also that ये किसी के अगेंस्ट सजा नहीं दे सकती, ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन किसी को सजा नहीं दे सकती, उसे प्रोसिक्यूट नहीं कर सकती. यस, केस को आगे कोर्ट में डाल सकती है, कोर्ट एक्सेप्ट करेगा कि उसको क्या सजा दी जाए. बट ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन कैन नॉट पनिश एनीवन, इट कैन नॉट प्रोसिक्यूट एनीवन. Then I told you about the directive principle of state policy. Directive principle of state policy, your fundamental. I told you very candidly that one aspect is very correct, and that is called, uh, you know, about the fundamental rights. You can go to the court, but you cannot move towards court for the not accepting that principles of state policy. Right? I told you very clearly. It's a non-justiciable. The justiciable nahi hai, because that is a part of the constitution cannot be enforced by the judiciary. Some parts are there which you cannot enforce by the judiciary. Those who those who frame the constitution thought the moral force behind this guidance would ensure that the government would take them seriously. It's a morality. It's a morality. On the morality, we have, government cannot force you. It cannot go to the judiciary. Right. They expected the people would also help the government responsible for the implementing. They said that the government should be helped by the people. People themselves should help the government. Right now, they should take initiative to do to make it easy the difficult task for the government. So if the people are not doing it, then you cannot say that you can put them before the court. It's a moral duty. Next, what do the directive principles contain? अब मेरा ये आज का टॉपिक है, what do the directive principles contain? Directive principles है क्या? For example, you ask me a question, right? I gave you the answer, and I told you that learn it from heart. Learn it, very important. You learn also. You are satisfied. I am satisfied. And in the question paper, in the examination, same question comes. You didn't attempt nice as you were expecting the same question. How can I say? You are in the examination hall. I cannot punish you. I cannot say anything to you. I cannot scold you. I cannot do anything because I directed you to do it. You didn't. You didn't do it. So what can I do? Same with the directive. Understood? You cannot be forced to accept those directions. No, you cannot. मम्मी पापा आप करवा कहते हैं अच्छे से पढ़ो, अच्छे से पढ़ो, अच्छे से पढ़ो, कुछ बन के दिखाओ. सपोज आप स्टडी नहीं करते हो, no one can. What can teachers do? Cannot do it. Yes, he can help you to solve some questions, but ultimately you have to do yours. Okay. So these are that. Easy manner. I just explained. What do the directive principles have? The chapter on directive principles, there's many तीन चीजें हैं. Number one, the goals and objectives that we as a society should adopt. Okay, first point, second point, and third point, one by one we will discuss it. First, I will read it, then I will explain you. Right. First part is the goals and objectives that as a society should adopt. हमारे पास कुछ goals हैं, objectives हैं, society के, जिन्हें हमें adopt करना है. We have to maintain discipline in the society. To maintain the discipline in the society, which principles should we adopt? Understood? So, we have to fix those principles in our society. Number one. Number two, certain rights that individuals should enjoy apart from the fundamental rights. There are such as other rights also. Apart from the fundamental rights, there are certainly some other rights. How can an individual enjoy that? This directive principle state policy tells you. How can you enjoy your rights? Rights का अधिकार आपकी किसके लिए? आपको उन अधिकारों का enjoy करना है. आपको अधिकारों को use करना है. For example, this is a right that you should get, good job, and this is a right you should not be. Your government should not be biased towards you. This should be right. How can you get the good job? Give you the best, but first you have to give the best. Then you have to face the interview board. You have to pass through it. Then you are getting the good job. Right. So certain rights and individuals should enjoy apart from the fundamental rights, and certain policies that the government should adopt. There are certain policies are there. Right? Certain policies are there which government should adopt for your beneficiaries. तो ये तीन चीजें मैंने आपको बताया. डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स क्या करती है? बेसिकली ये आपको अधिकार देती है ताकि आप उन अधिकारों को एंजॉय करें, उन अधिकारों का यूज कर सकें. right? Okay, let's see. You may get some idea of vision of makers of our constitution by looking at some of the directive principles shown below. The government from time to time tried to give effective some directive principles of state policy. They passed several Jamindari abolition bill, nationalized banks on it. I told you, when I was in capitulate, I was told you that I have already done it. For the beneficiary of the people, they have nationalized banks. They have, passed bill, Jamindari abolition bill, cottage industries for the upliftment of cottage industries, provision for the reservation, many others. Then, these are the directive principles. Here, directive principles include the right to education. कोई बच्चा ये पढ़ना चाहे, राइट, तो गवर्नमेंट उसको पढ़ाती है. गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में उसके फीस को बिल्कुल नेग्लेक्ट कर दिया जाता है. उनको और भी पैसे दिए जाते हैं, पॉकेट मनी दी जाती है, स्टेशनरी दी जाती है, बुक्स पेंसिल कॉपीज दी जाती है, स्कॉलरशिप दिया जाता है, सो दैट ही कैन, एंड मिड डे मील दिया जाता है, ऑब्वियसली मिड डे मील दिया जाता है, so that he can continue with the studies, education. Formation of Panchayati Raj is there, that is institutions from all over the country. Partial right to work under employment, guarantee program, and the midday meal for the students, which I told you. There are many other rights also. So these are all what? So for example, midday meal. It's a right if you're in the government school. It's a right to that you can have your midday meal. Right. So that you can enjoy your meal, enjoy your delicious meal, and you can continue with your education. So that you cannot have this type of news that I want to study, but government didn't allow me to study. Understand? मैंने तो पढ़ना चाहा पर गवर्नमेंट ने नहीं पढ़ाया. No, you cannot do it. Now our next topic is rights. तो पहले हो गए हमारे. We have completed. हमारे rights हैं, fundamental rights है, other moral rights है, other moral दूसरे directive principles state policies के अंदर rights है. But did you think that apart from rights, we have some certain other obligations also? Certain obligations are there that gives you fundamental duties. Fundamental duties. You never forget about rights, but certainly you forget about duties. Right. So in 1976, the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution was passed. Among other things, this amendment insert a list of fundamental duties. मतलब we in fact actually forget to insert fundamental duties side by side of fundamental rights. हमारे पास duties भूल गए थे. हमारे देश के प्रति कुछ कर्तव्य है. We we don't want to remember, we do not want to put it in your heart that government dे रहा है, it's government duty. Country is giving it to you, it's the country's duty. But what's our duty, right? So in 1976, insert किया गया. Among the other things, this amendment inserted a list of fundamental duties of citizens, and all 10 duties were enumerated. 10 duties basically उनको निकाला गया और इनेक्ट किया गया. However, the Constitution does not say anything about enforcing duties. Clearly लिखा हुआ है. Constitution तो ये कहती है कि आपको अधिकार मिले, तो Constitution, because Constitution अपने आप तो बनी. Right. Up, you made the Constitution. We made the Constitution. Our ancestors made the Constitution. They didn't insert the fundamental duties inside the Constitution. So in 76, under the 42nd Amendment, the Constitution did this. Okay, then as citizens, we must abide by Constitution, defend our country, promote harmony among all citizens, and protect the environment. हमें क्या क्या करना होगा? As a citizen, abide by our Constitution. हमें अपने Constitution के बातों को मानना होगा. हमें अपने Constitution की बातों को मानना होगा. Defend our country. हमें अपनी country की रक्षा करनी होगी. Promote harmony. Harmony means भाईचारा, प्यार, मोहब्बत समाज में. इसे बढ़ाना होगा. And among all citizens, protect the environment. और सबसे बड़ी बात कि सब हमें मिलकर environment को protect करना है. Environment को. Because if environment is there, fresh environment is there, means you are taking fresh air. So take care of your environment. However, it must be noted that our constitution does not have the enjoyment of right dependent or conditional upon fulfillment of duties. In this sense, the inclusion of fundamental duties has not changed the status of our fundamental rights. You know, it is that fundamental rights are there, but due to the fundamental right, you are not, and fundamental duties are also there. But let me tell you one thing, this is very clear that if you are not doing fundamental duties, your rights will be curtailed. No, not like this. It's not like this. Duties are separate, rights are separate. Both are separate issues. And you will be certainly given your rights. चाहे आप ड्यूटीज पूरी करें, पेरेंट्स के अगेंस्ट, पेरेंट्स के लिए, फॉर द पेरेंट्स, you have some certain duties when they are getting old. But many parents are in old old age home and their wards they are well settled. What the government is doing, how the government punish them, whose son or daughters they put their parents in old age home. क्या किया होगा? सरकार क्या कर सकती है? कुछ नहीं कर सकती. Yes, some certain basic amounts can be fixed from by the court to the for the child. Otherwise, they cannot force it. तो पेरेंट्स ने तो अपनी ड्यूटीज की, टीचर्स ने अपनी ड्यूटीज की, पर आपने अपनी ड्यूटीज नहीं की, तो इसके कारण गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट गोइंग टू पनिश यू till it's not a crime. It should not be crime. Otherwise, you are free. आप अपनी ड्यूटी कीजिए नहीं कीजिए से इससे आपको फर्क पड़े ना पड़े, गवर्नमेंट को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. गवर्नमेंट ने आपको राइट्स देने हैं, वो आपको देगी. सो दीज आर टू थिंग्स, राइट्स एंड ड्यूटीज आर बेसिकली पैरेलल टू ईच अदर, बट कंप्लीमेंट्री नहीं है. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज however, and another example I want to tell you about the environment. It's our duty that we should protect the environment, but we are destroying our environment. How many people were punished? Very few. Very few people were punished. That is the duty, right? So, however, it must be noted that our constitution does not make the enjoyment of rights depending or conditional upon fulfillment duties. In this sense, the inculcation of fundamental duties has not changed the status of a fundamental right. So I told you as I give example. Right. So you check your progress. What fundamental rights are being denied to the homeless in their everyday life? You say about it, your surroundings, then you give the answer. What kind of order you request to the Supreme Court to for regarding this issue? आपने बहुत सारे homeless देखे होंगे, right? जिनके पास घर नहीं है, छत नहीं है, बेचारे रास्ते पे सड़क पे बैठे रहते हैं, कई बार एक्सीडेंट होता है, वो मारे जाते हैं. तो गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया? Because government maybe they have made some shelter homes, but those shelter homes are so crowded that other people cannot adjust it over there. What the government is doing, they are doing nothing. What can you do for them? So these are the basically duties you should do. We should do. Everyone should do it. Then is relationship between fundamental rights and the active principle. Obviously, if the we directive principles are not enforceable by court of law, and they cannot be punished if directive principles are not being met. But certainly directive principles of state policies and fundamental rights, certainly they are parallel to each other. कोई ना कोई तो रिश्ता है आपस में इनका. क्या है देखते हैं. It is possible to see both fundamental rights and active principles as complementary to each other. These are the complementary to each other, right? So, fundamental rights restrain the government from doing certain things, while the active principles exhort the government to do certain things. The active principles क्या कहते हैं कि वो कहते हैं कि आप लोगों के लिए कुछ करो. For the benefit of the people, the document says that for example, we should have good. Document says that the government, state government, central government, they should have good schools. They should have some good market. Environment should be good. Everyone should get the shelter, home, shelter, clothing, food. So these are the directive principles, right? So side by side, your fundamental rights are also complementary. Fundamental rights mainly protect the rights of individuals, while the active principles in the box, whatever active principles, I will do it tomorrow. Right. So principles exhort the government to do certain things. Fundamental rights mainly protect the rights of individuals, while the active principles ensure the well-being of the society. आपके राइट्स को एनफोर्स करती है फंडामेंटल राइट. राइट. क्या कहती है? गवर्नमेंट को कहती है कि आपकी जिंदगी को योर लाइफ शुड बी वेल वर्स. यू शुड एंजॉय योर लाइफ. What the government should do so that you can enjoy your life. Those are the active principles. And for the well-being of the people, well-being of the every section of the society is the directive principles. Right? So here we come to an end. Tomorrow I will continue with the same topic with you. Just give 1 minute time and you revise the part, what the directive principles and state policies and all. Connect